Hi there, Erin Lee here of heavenlymessenger.com, bringing you this week's show that was formerly known as Tune In and Tune Up Thursday, that is now on Tuesday nights and shall remain nameless until Sunday, January the 2nd. So, welcome to our evening of the Nameless Show, but where we're going to connect with each other. We're going to connect with angels, where there's the opportunity to ask questions live for readings. So, my name is Erin Lee of heavenlymessenger.com, and I am so incredibly grateful that you've taken time out of your busy day to join me and to sit with me today. It is always a pleasure for me to be able to connect with you in this way. So before we get started, just as a quick little note, hold on to your questions for right now, but please, say hello, tell me that you're here. It's always great to see who's on. And then once we're getting ready to start asking questions, then I'll put the little banner up that you can ask your specific questions. This just gives everybody a chance and an opportunity to connect. So okay, so we've got lots of different things to talk about. I'll be really quick, and I'd like to pull a couple of cards just to see what's coming up for all of us today. So first of all, I just wanted to wish everybody season's blessings for the coming season. I currently have 20% off gift certificates and readings that are booked in the month of in the month of December. Where's my head? I have all of the information there on my in the comments section, but it's bookingwitherin.com/gratitude.html, and that's where you can book for at that 20% discounted price, and also where you can purchase gift certificates for yourself and for others. Also, we are going to be doing another new moon gathering this coming Friday, December the 3rd at 7 p.m. Pacific, which is 10 p.m. Eastern. It is about an hour. We did the first one for the full moon a couple of weeks ago, and I really kind of got my bearings for how we can facilitate this. And so I'm really excited that we're going to be doing a new moon one. The full moon is all about releasing stuff coming up to the surface to be released, to be cleared out. And the new moon is a time that is a little more quiet, contemplative, where we're connecting with our inner awareness and inner knowing. But it's also a wonderful time, once we have that clarity, to start setting intentions, to be putting energy out there for fresh starts and new beginnings. So really looking forward to connecting with you for that. Again, the information is in the chats up towards the top. And following this one on Friday, I've got two more that are coming up that were planned. We're going to do a slightly bigger full moon releasing on Friday, December the 17th. That's going to lead into new moon celebration. And it just so happens the new moon happens at the very beginning of January. It's January the 2nd. So everybody has an opportunity to recover from any celebrating that they might be doing the night before. And so that information will be coming up, but lots of intention around setting intentions for 2022. So the full moon that is happening on the 17th, we're going to be doing lots of releasing, lots of taking a look back at 2021, what's happened, what am I ready to let go of, what am I ready to kind of start moving forward with. So lots happening and lots going on. And of course, I said there was a lot that was happening. I'm super excited to be one of the presenters for the second annual More Than Existing Summit. It's an online event. I have a couple of gift certificates for passes for the weekend. And so if you would like more information about all that's happening, there's also a link in the chat there. I think it's the third comment down. Check it out, see what's happening, what's going on. I will have more information about how I'm going to share the codes that I have for a couple of event passes. More information will be coming out on Thursday later this week. So lots happening, lots going on. All right. So we are just about ready to do a check in with everybody. So I'm just going to pop over here and invite you to start asking your questions if you would like. So with the questions today, if you want me to use a particular deck of cards for your reading, please mention it with the question. I don't see the additional comments that you put underneath it. They just kind of come up like one at a time. So mention it with the question. You can choose from the yellow deck, which is the Archangel Oracle card deck. We've got the green deck, which is the messages from your angels. And the blue deck is the messages from the mermaids and dolphins. So if there is a particular deck you'd like me to use, please mention it. Please be specific with your question. So for example, love life or can I get a reading? I don't answer those questions. The readings that I do are primarily psychic. So I need something to tap into a little bit more than that. So a good example of a question would be, what do I need to know about the relationship that I'm in right now? What do I need to know about finding relationship, or like I want to be in a romantic relationship and partnership? What do I need to know about that? Those are really good specific questions that I can tag into. We tend to get a lot of questions coming on. And so if I ask you to ask a more specific question, I may or may not get to you in the time that we have. So please ask your specific question right up front. The first one that I see is the one that I will answer for each individual person. And one other thing too, sometimes it looks like it's kind of out of order, or it looks like I'm skipping over people. I just go based on what I'm seeing, and what I see isn't necessarily what's being represented on Facebook and YouTube. So just know that it's not my intention to skip anybody. So yeah. All right. So we're just going to ask, what do we need to know about the coming week? It feels like there's a lot that's happening and a lot that's going on in people's energy fields. So let's just see, like, what do we need to know to keep ourselves healthy, balanced, and well over the next week? And this is for everybody who's watching now and anybody who decides to join us later. What do we need to know? So the first card that we have here, this is Archangel Raziel, and his message is take back your power. Use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. To me, this is a card that's all about bringing your energy back into yourself, kind of mixing it all up, deciding, figuring out what it is that you're wanting. It's about, letting go of what isn't working for you, what isn't serving you, and saying, okay, where is my focus? And once you bring all of that energy in, then you can start using it to create. I find it really interesting that this message is coming up in the couple of days that we have before we move into the new moon, because that's all like the types of things that we're doing in preparation for that new moon energy. The next card that we have here is Archangel Raguel, and his message is divine order. Everything is happening exactly as it needs to. It's all in balance at the moment. And his specific message is everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see the underlying order. So again, this is definitely a card that says, if things aren't feeling balanced, if they aren't feeling comfortable in your world, sometimes we start to think, oh, well, things aren't comfortable, so it means that things are wrong, like it's not right, I'm not on the right path, I'm not on the right direction. And what this card is saying is, yep, you're on the right path, you're heading in the right direction. Focus less on the things that are challenging and find more and put more energy and attention into the things that are feeling like they're working, because those things that aren't working, they need a bit of space to kind of sort themselves out, or there are actions that you need to take, and you need to start taking them if they're apparent. If they aren't apparent, give it some space so that they can become apparent. And the last card that we have here, this is Archangel Jophiel, and her message is all about clearing your space. Get rid of clutter, clear the energy around you, and use feng shui. So when this card comes up, it's definitely all about clearing, not only on a physical level, so like cleaning your house, cleaning your space. I'm also hearing personal grooming. If that's something that you need to address, this card is definitely encouraging you to do that as well. But clear your space means a lot of other things too. This can have to do with clearing things out on a mental and emotional level. Do you find that you're going through the same thought processes or patterns and it's creating challenge or difficulty or discomfort? Now is the time to start looking at that, saying, hey, where did this come from? Is this actually in alignment with what I'm wanting to create for myself? Is there more that I need to understand about this so that I can bring it into alignment with the things that are most important to me? So this is all about clearing your space physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I also see relationships coming up with this card too. Are there relationships in your life that aren't serving you right now, or the way that they're currently functioning, it isn't serving you? I'm not saying necessarily that you need to get rid of these relationships, but maybe it's time to take a look at how you can make them function so that they do serve you better and do honor your energy and your time. Awesome. All right, let's just take a look and see what we have here. So Sammy's saying hello. Hi, Sammy. I was actually going to email you today. I'm so glad to see you. Hi, Shelly and Tamra and Brienne. Margaret, hello. It's wonderful to see you. Brenda, Cassandra. Hey, happy Tuesday to you too. Hello to Tanya and Dawn. And Shelly's saying that, oh, the full moon gathering was amazing. I'm so glad that you joined us. I hope you'll be able to join us for the next one. Hello, Josie. Thanks for joining me this evening. And Josie's saying that she's early this time. Awesome. Well done. I was almost late. Avril, hello. It's great to see you. Lisa and Dawn and Kayla and Kareen and Amanda and Tamra and Sammy, Lisa and Ariel, Shelly. Oh my goodness. Pamela, Michelle. Let me see. Brenda, Stephen, Carrie, Erica. Hello, everybody. It's wonderful to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Okay, let's take a look. Where are we? Okay, so we've got Avril up here first. Hi, Avril. Thanks for joining us this evening. Avril's asking about finances and are they going to improve? Okay, so I'm hearing, are they going to improve, but also when are they going to improve? So part of what I'm seeing is that there's a change that you're needing to make. It feels like you are beating your head against the wall at something, and part of what this feels like is it's a pattern that is the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm kind of hearing lots of those Facebook meme kind of quotes that's saying, continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result doesn't work out. That's not quite the quote, but that's what we're going with. And so it does feel like there's something that is needing to shift and change in order for your finances to fully and completely shift and change. And so it does feel like there is the opportunity for that to happen. Part of it feels like it could be work and employment related. It feels like there's something that you're putting energy into that isn't giving energy back to you in the way that it needs to, or in the way that it should, in order for it to be balanced in terms of what it is that you're giving. I'm also seeing some form of education that's coming up too. So there could also be a bit of a lull in finances, but I'm seeing it ramping right back up on the other side of that. So don't be afraid to take a look at education if that's something that you're drawn to, because I am seeing that there is support for you in that. We're going to go, and also in terms of when, I'm hearing May. Man, I wish that it was sooner than that, but it feels like there are several steps that are needing to be taken in order for finances to come back into balance and back into alignment. And so you need to take those steps in order for finances to come together. So we're just going to ask, what does Avril need to know about her finances? So, I love this card for you. So the card that we have here is Divine Magic. The message specifically is extra magical energy surrounds your situation right now and expect miracles. So with that, I would say, first of all, timeline can absolutely shift when we have this type of magic that's coming up. And it feels like it's going to be really important for you to trust your intuition, particularly over the next 3 weeks. So we are basically the beginning of December right now. as you start to move into like the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, basically right up before Christmas, that's when we have things really starting to shift and change, and things are feeling really positive at that point. The imagery that I'm getting is of going across monkey bars sometimes, or you have to let go of the bar behind you in order to be able to swing to the next bar. So that says to me that there's also a lot of releasing that's happening, and opportunity that's coming with that too. Avril, I'm so incredibly glad that you joined us this evening. Thank you so much for popping on. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and financial support your way. Okay, let me see. We have Dawn here. Hi, Dawn. Thanks for joining us. What, if any, big changes do you see coming up for me? Okay, that's kind of broad, but let's just take a look and see what we can get for you, Dawn. Um, where are we going? I have, this feels to me like this is coming up more from a physical, possibly a health perspective. And what I'm seeing is something that feels like it's an improvement. And basically it feels like things are moving better in like my stomach, digestive system. Um, eh, I can't think of a really polite way to say this, but basically it feels like there is a movement of feces that is removing itself from your body. So I don't know if that has been an issue or a challenge for you recently. I can also see how this could be symbolic as well, in that it feels like there is the releasing of stuff that no longer serves you. And with that, that feels to me like, on the one hand, there is something that is getting things moving, that is feeling positive, but I'm also seeing some effort that is coming from you as well, in order for this to happen, and in order for it to be realized. So I'm wanting to encourage you to take a look and see where there are pressure points in your life. And going back to the physical example that I'm being given, it feels like there's like a bit of massage that's happening. So from physical perspective, it does feel like there's something that you're doing to move things around, but from that metaphoric perspective, it feels like we're kind of searching things out. We're checking to see, where those pressure points could be, and we're creating openings for change to happen in them. So it feels like there's a bit of poking and a bit of investigation that you're doing in order for things to start shifting. So we're just going to ask what messages are coming up for Dawn, in terms of changes. So the card that we have here is creative writing. This is Archangel Gabrielle's card, and her message is make time to write down your thoughts in a journal or pen an article or book. Archangel Gabrielle also helps and supports us with communication. So if we're in a place of challenging communication with other people, or if we're needing to express ourselves around something that's happening, Archangel Gabrielle really helps and supports us with that. So what I would say is this feels like it's a really important time to be getting your thoughts out on paper. And there is a really significant exchange of energy that happens when you write, as opposed to just think or to speak things out loud. There's a certain amount of energy from like bringing that thought down through your body and out of your body, bringing it into the physical. So I would encourage you to write, or do something that is creative. Some people paint, or they draw, or they bring in colors. All of those things feel really positive, but there is the need to be creative, to express yourself, and to get it out. Dawn, I'm so grateful that you joined us this evening. Thank you so much for popping on. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. All right, so we've got Kayla here. Hi, Kayla. Thanks for joining me. So Kayla's wondering about money. So that's interesting. We've had a couple of people asking about money so far this evening. And she's asking when my money might get dispersed. Okay, so as soon as I ask about that, the first thing that I'm seeing is, the old race car tracks. I think it might be Hot Wheels, and they do like the loop-de-loops around. That's what I'm seeing coming up when you ask about when your money might be dispersed. And what I'm specifically seeing is that there are 3 loops. I'm going to call these 3 different hoops, or 3 phases that your money needs to pass through in order for things to be dispersed. So in terms of timeline and time frame, I'm hearing Man, this feels like this is a long time. I'm hearing February coming up. But again, it also feels like kind of similar for um, Avril, that there could be things that shift a little bit sooner than that. So one of the things that's kind of interesting with psychic readings is we see things kind of based on what's happening right now. There are things that can shift and change, and they can shift and change things from a small perspective, in which case it doesn't really have an effect on the income, or pardon me, on the outcome. But there are things that can happen on a bigger level. I'm not seeing that being applicable here. I'm really wanting to say I'm seeing it sooner, but February is what keeps sticking out, and it feels like it's because of these three different processes that it needs to go through in order for disbursement to happen and to really come together. So we're just going to go to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're going to ask, what messages does Kayla need to know about finances and about money being dispersed for her? And the reason we're going to the mermaids and dolphins is because they work really well with things on physical level, especially money and resources. So the card that we have coming up for you is pay attention. Notice repetitious signs and your inner guidance, as this can yield valuable information. So what this says is that if there is something that you're able to do to impact change, or to impact the timeline for when things are happening, notice that and take action on it. I'm not seeing that there's a huge amount that you can do, but it does feel like there could be a bit of a clearing that comes up in the next 10 to 14 days, where there could be the opportunity for you to get something done or to push things through. So also, I don't know how communication is happening in this situation, but make sure that if it's through like email, make sure that you're checking your spam folder or your junk folder on a regular basis, because it feels like things might also be sorted out that way as well. So that could be part of the loop-de-loop, is things needing to be resent, but it is sent. You just need to find it. Kayla, it was such a pleasure connecting with you this evening. Thank you so much for popping on tonight. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and financial support your way. All right. So we've got Kareen here. Hi, Kareen. Thanks for joining us. Kareen saying, hi, Erin. Any message regarding me going back to work? I'm retired from my government job. Okay. So I just want to do a big celebration for the retirement from your government job, because what I'm seeing with that is it feels like it was something that you enjoyed doing, but it also felt like it was draining. So yay. Awesome. Okay. Let's take a look at going back to work. So the first thing that's coming up is I do see an opportunity to go back to work, but I'm also seeing that you're taking some time, and it feels like you're taking a bit of extra time to to enjoy retirement, not having to do something. It feels to me like we're kind of looking at March and into April of 2022. So really make sure you're taking like December, January, February, and really enjoying those months for yourself. March, April, May feels like that's when you're starting to come back into a place of, okay, well, I'm ready to be doing something else, to have a bit more structure, because it feels like that's something that you're really missing, is having a sense of connecting with people, doing things with, for, and around people. Retirement is feeling kind of isolated for you. So what I would say to that as well is, over the next several months that it feels like you're going to continue to be off, make sure that you're connecting with people that you care about, or possibly making new friendships or new connections, because it feels like that makes a really big difference, the time that you have, like, quote unquote off, before you go back into some form of employment. But what I'm seeing for you in terms of that employment is it feels like it's something that you really enjoy. It's not something that really feels like it's draining you, and it really uplifts you. Okay, we're going to go to the big guys, and we're just going to ask what messages are coming up for Kareen around going back to work. Okay, so the card that we have here is compassion. This is Archangel Zadkiel, and his message is soften your heart with respect to the situation and all the people involved, including yourself. It's interesting because to me, it feels like this actually has more to do with healing from what feels like it was a pretty hectic go, go, go type of pace with your previous employment that you've retired from. Really make sure that you take time to slow down, to enjoy, to appreciate being retired. And I know that I talked about like April, May, possibly March as being a time for going back to work. But what this card says to me as well is that you also really need that downtime. So don't be in a rush if you don't have to be. Karine, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for popping on this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Okay, so let me see. We've got Amanda here. Hi, Amanda. Thanks for joining us. Amanda's asking, what do you see happening in my marriage this coming year? Uh, okay. So first of all, it feels to me like the relationship is one that has been fairly long term. It feels like you guys have gone through lots of ups and downs in your relationship, and uh, it feels like you guys might be at a bit of a challenging spot or a challenging place in some aspect in your relationship and partnership. I am seeing a lot that's happening. I'm seeing a lot of like joy and celebration. So there's something that the two of you together that you've been working on and working towards, and it feels like it's come to fruition. I don't know if you're wanting to have children, have babies, or if this is in some way connected to a child. This message could also come through as something that the two of you have really worked hard on, that you've put a lot of energy into. But it feels like it's that level of celebration. This can also manifest as, like a business that the two of you are working on together, or something else that you've really worked towards. So it does feel like there is some pretty significant celebration that the two of you are going to experience together as partners that you both equally share in. You both had an equal investment in it. But it does feel like there's some stuff that's underlying that needs to be addressed too. So I don't know if you guys are currently talking to like a counselor or are seeking outside help and support. This feels not because you guys are at a make or break place, but more because it feels like it's something that helps to improve the experience that you each have in relationship and partnership. Sometimes people get kind of like funny or offended if the suggestion comes up for counseling, and that's please, there's no judgment or anything that comes up around counseling. It feels more like it's something that really helps and supports the two of you in progressing in your relationship and partnership. So as I said, it does feel like there's stuff that's going on underneath the surface that's needing to be addressed, but I am also seeing that there is celebration that the two of you are experiencing, and it's around something that you've both equally invested in, that you've worked towards, and that you're excited about. We're going to go to the messages from your angels, and we're just going to ask, what messages does Amanda need to know around her relationship for the coming year? We had a jumper, and it's Archangel Uriel. So Archangel Uriel is the angel who helps and supports us with healing on an emotional level in particular. So your emotions are healing, which enables you to open to greater love. I will help you release anger and unforgiveness from your heart and mind. To me, this feels like this is really confirmation of the messages that we had coming up around the underneath work that feels like it is needing to happen between the two of you. I am seeing both of you invested in moving forward in relationship and partnership and wanting things to be as happy and healthy and supportive as possible. So it does feel like you guys have the resources that you need to continue to grow the foundation that you've already built. Amanda, thank you so much for joining me this evening. It was a pleasure connecting with you. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. We've got Tamara here. Hi, Tamara. Thanks for joining me. So Tamara's asking, do you see me buying another place soon? Should I hold off until spring? Thank you. Okay. So Okay, what are we doing? Spring is definitely coming up loud and clear, and mostly from the perspective that it feels like you're having a hard time finding exactly what it is that you're looking for, and it almost feels like. To a certain extent, looking for a romantic relationship or partner. And you know, the old adage that they say, you always find exactly what you're looking for when you aren't looking for it. It feels like that, only from a real estate perspective, and I am still seeing you looking. So I hope that that was clear as mud. But no, it feels like you're taking a little bit of a break. It feels like you're working with a real estate agent or somebody who's helping you to find things that you could potentially be interested in. Definitely continue to employ them and to work with them, but I'm not seeing it being your top priority at the moment. As we start to move into the middle end of January, it feels like things really start to open up again. And that's where I'm seeing starting to invest more energy into finding a place. The spring does definitely feel like it's got lots more opportunities, not only in terms of like supply, but also potentially from a financial point of view, that there could be benefit to waiting a little while. So possibly that's a bit of a shift in prices. I would think that that would be prices slightly coming down. It doesn't feel like that's going to be a really big or significant motivating factor in this. It feels like it has more to do with available supply. And I'm also feeling kind of tired in the process too. So slow down, take your time, give yourself a bit of time off. I mean, middle of January, we're kind of talking about 6 weeks with that timeline, and that feels like that's a good timeline to be looking at. So definitely wait until the spring. Okay, we're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask what messages are coming up for Tamra around finding a new space, buying a home. Now, this is really interesting because this is the card. This is the card that came up for the last person that we connected with the mermaids and dolphins. And the message is pay attention. So notice repetitious signs and your inner guidance, as this can yield valuable information. And this feels like this has to do more with the location of the space that you're going to be in. So what I'd encourage you to do over the next 6 weeks or so, as we're talking about not really working so much on looking for a place and finding a place, is still go out and visit neighborhoods that you would be interested in spending time in. And or where you'd be interested in purchasing a home. And to really pay attention to the feelings that you have. I'm kind of wondering if you end up finding a spot that's kind of tucked away or a little outside of possibly where you're looking. So look towards the outskirts of the area that you're looking in, because it feels like there could be opportunities and openings there. And that if location is a really important part and aspect to you, it feels like there is this opening that happens in this space that allows the travel or community or whatever it is that you're looking for, that you're not going outside of the area. I'm seeing this in some way filling in that gap. Tamara, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. We've got Sammy here. Hi, Sammy. Thanks for joining us. Let me see. So, wondering what is going to happen with custody with Sammy's little's dad. Okay, so we're asking about custody for Sammy's child, and what's happening with custody with that. So I'm getting a lot of really big boundaries. I'm also seeing a steamroller too. Potentially it feels like one of the tactics that is being used in this situation is you are being steamrolled. So the sense that I have is that there's a lot that's coming at you. I'm seeing a lot that is being specifically thrown at you, that feels like the purpose and the intention with it is to drain your resources, whether those resources are financial or energetic or emotional. It feels like that's the purpose of this steamroller coming through, so that your child's father is able to get the advantage and the upper hand. So with that, to counteract that, to counterbalance that. Make sure you're connecting with the people that you care about, the people who care about you, and ask them for help and support in keeping your energy high. It feels like there are people around you who do want to see you succeed, who see what you see in the relationship and the situation. Um, I'm also seeing being things coming at you from a couple of different fronts. So it does feel like you're dealing with things around custody, but there's something else that's like trying to sneak in from the other side. If there is anything else from a legal point of view that you are dealing with your child's father, I'm wanting to encourage you to see about either addressing it all together so that it's not coming up from behind, or specifically severing them in order to address and deal with something to get it off of the plate so that you can focus on this other thing, because it feels like it's a little bit of a tactic, and I'm seeing it depleting the energy and the resources that you have to work in this situation. I just want to go back and make sure I've answered the question. So in terms of what's going to happen with custody with your little's father, it feels like this is going to take some time still. And the frustrating thing is it feels like this has already taken a significant amount of time. And it does feel like you're in a place where you're feeling tired and potentially a little overwhelmed with everything that's coming up. I want to really encourage you to reach out and to look for help and support in kind of moving through this situation, because it feels like you're needing somebody to kind of help hold your hand and to deal with some of what feels like it's coming at you, so that it can be properly addressed. It does feel like we've got an opening that's happening about 6 months from now. So, we're the beginning of December, basically. That's kind of taking us into May. And it feels like there's something that is bringing things wide open. I suspect that this is something that's happening from like a legal or a court point of view, where things feel like we're like, okay, we're going to start working with this so that we can start really moving forward. So I do see that there is a lot of positive that is happening. It feels like there is lots of hope, but definitely now is the time to be circling the wagons to bring in that help and support so that you can come to that point. We're going to go to the big guys. We're just going to ask what messages are coming up for Sammy around custody of her child. Okay, so the card that we have here is the Clear Your Space card. This is Archangel Jophiel, and her message is get rid of clutter, clear the energy around you, and use Feng Shui. This was one of the cards that came up for all of us earlier today, so I find that really interesting, because not only is this something that's happening for you personally, but it's happening on a bigger global level as well. So as we talked about at the beginning today, that yes, this can have to do with things on a physical level. So clearing out things that no longer serve you, that don't support you. So, like this is definitely a time to get rid of clutter or any junk that might be in your house or things that you're not using. Pare things down and minimize. But also, this is definitely coming up from a mental and emotional point of view too. So pay attention to where your energy is going, where your thoughts are going. When you start to notice your energy dipping down or going down, or your thought patterns, kind of going into that deeper, darker kind of circle, pay attention to that and really work to bring things back up again. Yes, things are really challenging right now, but I've overcome worse. Or yes, things are really challenging right now, but I've got these resources that I can use to help me. Or yes, things are really challenging right now, but I also have these other things that I'm really grateful for. Sammy, it was a pleasure connecting with you this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Lisa, I didn't see a question for you. So if you want to ask a specific question, I will hope to connect with you this evening. All right. So we've got Josie here. Hi, Josie. Josie's asking about a read on her job in the new year. Okay, let's take a look and see what we have coming up around work for you, Josie. So I'm seeing something that's coming up around community, and it feels to me like there's a connection that is already present, that is available and accessible to you. And I'm wondering if this is something that you are going back into. Um, but at the same time, it feels like it's slightly different. So it almost feels like there was a position that you held that for whatever reason didn't work out. I'm hearing something coming up around funding, and I'm also wondering if this may have been impacted by COVID as well in some way, shape, or form. But it feels like things are being molded and created into something new, and so I'm seeing a little bit of what I want to call like bypassing, to get around something. And it feels like there's work that is being created for you, possibly in part because of who you are and what you bring. So it feels like we do have new work and new job opportunity that could potentially have some sort of old connection to it. The situation feels like it is improved, it's better. And what I'm seeing is that somebody feels like they're really convincing you to come back into the situation too. So it's interesting because it feels like there might be a couple of different aspects to why you left or how you left. But what I'm seeing is that, strings are being pulled, things are shifting, things are changing. And I am receiving a lot of reassurance that things are different and new, and possibly that there is more control that you have over the situation. um, I'm hearing a bit of a caveat with that too. I'm hearing that, or or you've got kind of free reign to create something within a system that you're really excited about, that feels like it is supportive, encouraging, and really honoring. I'm really being drawn to youth. Community just keeps hitting me over the head. And it feels like there is a certain part of the community that you are really focusing on working with, and it feels like everything starts to open up. So I mean, this could also potentially be two different options that are coming up for you. When I ask about time frame, I am seeing something that looks like mid-January to mid-February. So it could be that this is being presented mid-January, but the position itself isn't opening up until sometime in February. Let's take a look. We're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask what messages are coming up for Josie around work and job in the new year. We've got this one popping up. I keep hearing somebody saying to me that things are different, things are changing, and it feels like there's more control that you have. I have two cards here that have kind of popped out and come out. This is interesting. The first card that we have here is explore your options. It's time to look at other possibilities, and it's a good time to make changes. So do know that whatever the options and the situations are, it's not the only option that you have. So keep things really open, and don't commit until you are fully and completely ready. So make sure that the circumstances are in your best and highest good, and in the best and highest good of all involved. And the second card that popped out for you is the yes card. Your intuition is correct, and take action accordingly. So you're definitely in touch and in tune with your intuition with regards to work. If it does feel like there are changes that are needing to be made on your part, definitely make them. It feels like you've got lots of opportunities. So there is definitely lots of opening. And as I said, I am seeing somebody who is being very insistent that either things are getting better, or they're going to be better, or they're basically kind of wanting to give you they're wanting to give you whatever it is that you want. So I would say that there's a lot of stability should you decide to continue on that path. Josie, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. I'm so grateful that you joined me this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Okay, so we've got Shelly here. Hi, Shelly. Thanks for joining me. Shelly's saying, I'm being drawn to relocate to the Comox Valley. Do you see this happening in the near future? And is there anything I can do to facilitate it? So it feels like I'm seeing like a hop, step, and a jump. So either that has to do with the distance that you are traveling, that there is a bit of distance. It's not just like a step in, but that there are a couple of, it's a bit longer. Um, uh, and that there's a bit of time. So I do have a pull that's coming up really strongly for you in the spring. And it feels like likely this is when that choice and that decision is being made to make the move. But September is also coming up really strongly for you too. So it feels like this could have to do with finding space for yourself, or you've got commitments in the current space that you're in. There could be a bit of travel that's coming up, and the decision is rather than making a move and then going away or this travel, you're just going to wait until after that travel has been completed and finished. But the fall, September in particular, is what is coming up really strongly for a move to really come together. When I ask about the Comox Valley, I mean, that's where I am. It's a really beautiful place. It does feel like there is a place and a spot here for you. And the housing situation, both from like a rental point of view and a purchasing point of view, it's really kind of interesting here right now. But what I'm seeing is that there is a spot. It feels like it's just right. Like I'm seeing Goldilocks and the three bears, and it is just right. It is just right for Shelley. So I do see that there is space that is here for you, and it feels like there's also community either that you are coming into that you're already aware of, or community that comes up really beautifully around you. So it feels like everything just kind of boom, 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 boom falls into place once you make the choice and decision to make a move. And as I said, it feels like the spring is really when that decision making process is happening. So whether that has to do with, like selling property where you currently are, or letting go of a place in a space that you have. As I said, it feels like there's some travel that's coming up more through the summer months, and that does play a factor in when you're moving and relocating. But the fall feels like that's a really great time, and I'm just seeing, as I said, everything kind of clicking into place for you. All right, Shelley, let's take a look and see what messages are coming up. We're going to the messages from your angels, and we're just going to ask, what does Shelley need to know about potentially relocating to the Comox Valley? I'm going to say potentially because the decision hasn't been completely made yet, but I am seeing that there is opportunity for you if this is the direction that you decide to go in. Uh, so this is a bit of a leap of faith card. This is Azure, and her message is, your desired outcome will occur in the very near future. Have patience and faith, and don't try to force it to happen. One of the things that I love about this card, first of all, in the background, we have this clock. So to me, that's talking about timing and having patience with the timing. And we have this angel who is literally taking off from what looks like kind of like a ledge. You can't really see the ledge, but in my mind, that's what's there. And she's really leading with her heart. Again, I don't know if you can see that well, but she's not really looking back. She is kind of looking forward. And really leading with her heart. There is lots of energy that's coming up around her, and it does feel like she's taking a little bit of a chance, but at the same time, she's feeling pretty confident in the choice and the decision that she's making. And again, it's not about pushing and forcing. If you need to push something, it means that there is something that you're overriding, and you're not necessarily looking at all of the options, or you're trying to make things happen too quickly. The more that you allow things to flow, the easier it is for things to start to come together. That doesn't mean that, it isn't still important to take action, but just don't push. Shelley, it was a pleasure connecting with you this evening. I'm so grateful that you joined me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Okay, so we've got Pamela here. Hi, Pamela. Thanks for joining me. Pamela's wondering, what do I need to know about my future with my love interest? And Pamela's asking for the messages from your angels. Okay, let's take a look and see what we have coming up. So I have two feelings that are coming up. On the one hand, I'm seeing almost like a tug of war. Like there's this feeling of push, pull back and forth. It feels like it's very uncomfortable, and it feels like it's the same pattern over and over. But I've also got there's somebody else who's kind of coming up to my attention over here. So I've got this push pull thing that's happening here. It feels like it's a lot of the same over and over. And then I've got over here somebody who feels like they're kind of interesting. They're coming up on the periphery. And so part of what's coming through, it feels like it has to do with questioning um, where your energy and your attention is going and what you're wanting to invest in. Because as I said, I've got this other person who's coming up over here who's feeling really interesting. Things feel like they're really simple and straightforward. So if there is currently a situation where you are playing a bit of like tug of war, push, pull back and forth, I'm kind of wanting to give that a bit of a pause, a bit of a rest, and like taking a look over here and just checking things out. It's feeling to me like it's very inviting, that there's lots of opportunity for growth. But the biggest thing is that there's peace and ease that's coming up in this partnership and this relationship. So let's just take a look and see what messages are coming up for you. I'm kind of being drawn to pull cards for each person in each situation. So this card here, my intention was around like a push-pull feeling. And the card that we have, this is Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel helps and supports us with communication. So you have an important life purpose involving communication and the arts. Please don't allow insecurities to hold you back. I will help you. So the parts that I'm really focused on more with this particular card and message is, don't allow insecurities to hold you back, and that there's help and support. So something is needing to be expressed, needing to be dealt with and addressed. And then this other energy that I have of like somebody potentially who's new that's coming in where things are feeling open is the Mystique card. So keep charging ahead and don't take no for an answer. Expect miraculous solutions to appear. So there's definitely, as I said, there's a feeling of ease that's coming up around this other connection and relationship. And there's lots of encouragement that's coming through with moving forward. And the expect miraculous solutions to appear. That's a really interesting message to come up around relationship, particularly since I'm not seeing the need for a lot of solution, because this connection feels like it's simple, it's easy, it's upfront. There's nothing that is really hidden. Things are feeling really open and supportive. Pamela, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way, and lots of romance angels too, to help and support you through connecting with love. All right, let's just take a look here. So we've got Brenda here. Hi, Brenda. Thanks for joining me. Brenda's saying, hi, Erin. Can you see what the next chapter of my daughter Michaela's is going to be? Is it going to work out the way she is planning it to be? Okay, that one's a little bit ambiguous, but let's see what we can do for you, Brenda. Okay, so when I ask what's happening for Michaela, um, everything that I'm seeing feels like it's laid out. So I have this sense of plan, and things feel like they're planned very well. I'm seeing like a fairly straightforward, clear trajectory. I The plan feels like it's really straightforward, but I'm seeing a road that looks like it's winding a little bit. So the overall goal, path, and the direction that she's headed in, she is on the right track, but it doesn't feel like it's quite as straightforward as perhaps she's planning, or what she's thinking, or what she's hoping, because it does feel like we've got like a couple of little detours. The movement, it's not like she's being turned completely away from it, but it doesn't feel like it's as straightforward. There are like little dips. So I'm kind of wanting to encourage her to enjoy the journey, allow herself to take a bit of the scenic route, that it doesn't have to be like from point A to point B, that she can have like little stops along the way, because it does feel like there's something that she's needing to experience in that path and direction that she's taking. But that the overall destination, the general path that she's looking at, it feels like she's headed in the right direction. And what I would say to like these little offshoots that I'm seeing, this feels like this is part of life. And there are some things that we just can't plan for, so we just kind of figure it out. I'm seeing there was this really funny story thing that came up on Facebook ages ago, and basically it was somebody who draws the road lines, and there must have been a rock on the road where this line was to be drawn, because the line just kind of curved around it, and then it continued. So that would be the best way that I have to describe it. Instead of moving the rock or going over the rock, they said, no, we're just going to curve around it, and then boom, we're right back on track. That would be the best description that I have for the path and the direction that she's taking. Okay, so we're gonna go to the big guys. We're just going to ask what messages are coming up for Brenda on Michaela's behalf, in terms of her next steps and next chapter in her life. This is so wild. So we got the clear your space card again. So for Michaela, again, this is Archangel Jophiel. Her message is get rid of clutter, clear the energy around you, and use Feng Shui. If she is looking at a new chapter in her life, there is something that she needs to clear out first in order to be able to get on track and to get on path. So encourage her to let go of the things that aren't serving her and aren't supporting her. We are kind of in that we're actually still we're heading into the energy of the new moon. It's still coming up, but there have been so many strong messages that have been coming up around clearing that, she's not alone in releasing and letting go of stuff. So to take a bit of time to really become clear around what it is that she's wanting, to reconcile where she has just come from. That's a really big part of the moving forward process that we often kind of skip over. So really encourage her to take some time to, reflect upon the experiences that she's had over the last several years, over the things that she's learned, the things that she wants to take with her, the things that she wants to leave behind. Say, hey, I've learned that lesson. I don't need to continue to repeat that and to continue to move forward with it. But to be really clear about where she is coming from, because that's the foundation that she's building the future on. So get really clear and solid and stable with it. Brenda, it was such a pleasure connecting with you this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support to you and to Michaela too. All right, so we've got Stephen here. Hi, Stephen. Thanks for joining me. Stephen is saying, hope all is well with you. What do I need to know about my employment moving forward to the new year? Okay, let's take a look and see what we have. So first of all, it does feel like there is employment that is moving forward for you as we move into the new year, but I'm feeling a little bit of a gap. It does feel like this is planned though, and it kind of reminds me my younger brother in the work that he works in. There's a contracting aspect to it, and they have kind of a planned 2 weeks that they take off at the end of December into the beginning of January, and then new contract kind of picks up after that. And that's kind of what this reminds me of. The time frame that I'm seeing feels like it's about 3 weeks long. It feels like it's pretty much planned, so it feels like this is something that you're aware of, and at that time, it feels like something is picking up after. When I ask if this is current employment that you have or a current employer, or if this is something new, I'm really kind of torn, and I'm going in both directions with this. So it kind of makes me wonder if this might be employment that has come up from the past, or something that you've done in the past that's kind of popping up and it's giving you security and stability moving forward. This could also be from a project point of view. So if you work for a larger overall organization and structure, this could be moving from one project into another project. But it does feel like there's a gap. And as I said, it feels like it's about 3 weeks, and you move from one into the next, and things keep moving forward, and it feels like there's a lot of stability. I'm seeing that there could be a bit of concern around location, and that's coming up really strongly. And so I'm wanting to reassure you that it feels like the work that is coming up feels like it's quite local to where you are. So I'm not seeing the need for changing locations or for changing move or for moving. It feels to me like it's fairly continuous, except for this chunk of time where it feels like you're moving from one to the next. Again, it feels like it's kind of coinciding with holidays. So as long as it's something that has been like budgeted for and prepared for, it feels like it's going to be okay. I am seeing support that's coming in on a financial level as well. So it doesn't feel like this is going to like throw you completely for a loop. And it feels like it's actually time that you're really able to enjoy as well. So employment in the new year feels like it is steady, secure, and it feels like you're able to just kind of hit the ground running with it. All right, we're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask what messages are coming up for Stephen around work, particularly as we're moving forward into the new year. Okay, so the card that we have is the playtime card, which is really interesting given that we were asking about work. The dolphins know the importance of playing as joy creates miracles and manifestation. So again, I really want to emphasize this time off that I'm seeing you having. It feels like it's really important not to worry and not to stress, and to make sure that you're connecting with the people that you love, that you enjoy, and taking time for play and for fun. One, because that lifts your energy. It feels like it brings you into a better space, like physically, mentally, and emotionally. It also helps to invite in opportunities. So, if it's not really straightforward and clear for you what is happening on the other side, I am seeing it being really straightforward. But if on the physical level it's not, then play will also help to invite in that new opportunity. As I said, it feels like you're moving from one thing into the next thing. It feels to me like it's quite seamless, and I am seeing exactly where you're going. But if for some reason that's not your physical experience of it, as much as possible, don't stress and don't worry, because it feels like universe is basically saying, we've got your back. Don't worry about it. So as much as possible, don't stress, play, have fun, enjoy the time that you have with the people that you love. Stephen, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. So we've got Carrie here. Hi, Carrie. Thanks for joining me. Carrie saying, would love to see if Spirit has any advice for romantic life right now. Okay, let's just see what we're talking about for romance. So the first thing that I'm getting is I'm wanting to open heart, and I can't tell if there is currently relationship in your life or if you're looking for relationship and partnership, but what I'm seeing, what is coming up, is that there's a need to open up your heart. Things are feeling like they're kind of guarded, they're kind of protected, and the more that you're able to open to inviting love into your life, the better. And this is true whether you're in relationship and partnership or whether you're looking for love, relationship, and connection. Because when we guard ourselves, it makes it difficult for people to get in, whether they're already in our lives or not. So Spirit's saying, hey, open your heart right up, and allow yourself to feel and experience love on lots of different levels, not only in terms of like romantic relationship and partnership, but within your friendships, within other family relationships that you have. If there are other people in your life that you love, I have a love of the majority of people that I interact with and engage with, for them as humans doing the best that they can, come into this space of love and really enjoy and experience the world, your relationships and connections from this loving point and place. And it feels like it has a really positive impact on your love life, whether you are in relationship with somebody else or whether you are looking for a relationship and partnership. It feels like this act of opening yourself to giving and receiving love helps and benefits regardless of where you are. We're just going to go to the big guys. Oh, actually, that's going to be our message. That was where we were split. So the relationship harmony card is the card that's coming up for you. This is Archangel Raguel, and his message is, we angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. Usually I put the cards down so that they're face down, but this time I didn't. I put them face up, and we've got this card here too that we're pulling for you as well. And this is the beloved one card. This is Archangel Shamuel. I am helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. So what both of these cards are saying, one, if there is challenge within an existing relationship, help and support is helping to heal and to open the hearts of everybody involved. So like that heart opening message that's coming up loud and strong, loud and clear. And also to know that there is help and support in connecting with your soulmate, with partner in that soulmate partnership relationship. So to ask for help and support, because it's there, in order to fully receive help and support from angels, from universe, we need to ask for it. We need to be open to it. And that's what both of these cards are saying, is the help and support is available. We just need you to ask for that help and support, to be open, and to take the steps that you're guided to take as well. So there is definitely a lot of support. Again, whether you're currently in relationship or you're looking for a relationship, there's lots going on behind the scenes to support you in connecting at that really healthy, positive level. And Carrie, I'm so grateful that you joined me this evening. Thank you so much for popping on. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. We have come to the end of our show that doesn't have a name. I'm Erin of heavenlymessenger.com, and I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined me this evening. In all of the announcements that we had, I completely forgot to mention the one about naming the show. So in the next couple of minutes, I will be posting a little bit about naming this Tuesday evening show. And basically, I need your help coming up with a name. For the last 5 years or so, the show that I've done, it's Tune In and Tune Up Thursdays, and it's been on Thursday nights. The format and the structure is basically the same. We've just moved it from Thursday night to Tuesday night, but we need a new name. And so what I'm doing is between now and December 24th, I've got a post on my Facebook page where I'm asking people to put in their suggestions. I will come up with a couple of choices from that, and then I'm going to ask you again for help and support in choosing one of them. So I'll probably come up with 3 or 4 that I'm like, these really work for me. And ask your help to choose which one we're going to use moving forward. We will announce that on Sunday, January the 2nd. It feels like it's a really great way to start off the new year. Lots of intention with the new moon that's happening on that day as well. And as a thank you, I'm going to be gifting readings to the people certainly to the person who has shared the name that we end up choosing, but also along the way, I've got lots of little gifts that I'd like to give to people, whether they are readings or video readings or energy healing. There are lots of things that we're going to be giving. So I hope that you, if you have any ideas, that you'll share them, and that once we have a couple of names to choose from, that you'll come and you'll vote for them as well. This is as much your time as it is my time. And I would really love if you would help me to decide how we're going to shape this time together. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Erin Lee of heavenlymessenger.com. If you'd like to book a reading with me, head over to bookingswitherin.com. Or, as I said at the beginning of the show this evening, for the month of December, readings are 20% off when you use the link bookingwitherin.com/gratitude. But the link is on my Facebook page. It's also in the comments on this live stream this evening. That is the link that you need to use. The prices are already discounted, and gift certificates are available for sale there as well. Thanks again. Looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Hope you have a fabulous week.